Hey everybody, it's Global Politics with Jim Martin. I wanted to take a minute and talk about Trump's cabinet nominees. Now that his administration is in and rolling, I thought I would talk about the cabinet nominees that most specifically have the potential to affect global politics. Obviously, we'll start with Marco Rubio. Rubio's the son of Cuban immigrants. He's a lawyer. He is a career politician. He ran for president, got trounced by Trump, served in the Senate from 2011 to 2025. Before that, he was Speaker of the Florida House. Will-o'-the-wisp type guy, politically speaking. Now, once he was sort of a centrist, center-right guy, had a reputation of being relatively easy to work with. Now he's firmly a Trump loyalist. His experience in the Senate and his international travels and work on Senate committees and such is certain to give him some good perspective. He doesn't have any managerial experience at all of the sort that you need to run a federal agency. However, he knows his way around. So not a terrible choice, not a great one either. 2.5 stars.
Hey, whatever.
Next up, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Hegseth is a Princeton grad, Harvard master's. Briefly spent some time as a financial analyst, maybe a year, maybe less, and then started his Army service. By all accounts, he had a very solid service record over the years. Ended up as a major with the National Guard. Spent most of the last decade as a Fox News contributor. Very ideological, far-right guy. Zero experience with managing people at that scale, working in a federal agency or with a federal agency. Poor choice, in my opinion. 0 stars.
Oh, dude.
Next up, Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem is the nominee for the Department of Homeland Security. Rural background, farming family, bachelor's in political science, career politician. Most recently, the governor of South Dakota. Populist right-wing type, zero experience in intelligence work or security issues. At least she knows her way around government, probably knows some folks, been a Trump loyalist for some time. 1 star.
Oh, dude.
Tulsi Gabbard is nominated to be the Director of National Intelligence. Longtime Democrat who converted to Trumpism in 2024. Longtime National Guard officer, ended up as a lieutenant colonel in the reserves as a result of that service. Multiple deployments, distinguished military career. Once she was targeted as a rising Democratic star, kind of a center-left sort of person, centrist-oriented, somebody who understood regular folks, big on veterans issues. So she was in the House, serving from the state of Hawaii for many years. That rising star didn't last long. She ran afoul of Hillary Clinton during a presidential campaign, was really kind of a Democrat name only for some years after 2016. Politically very malleable, wants to be in the game type. She's an isolationist in terms of foreign policy, has praised dictators in the past, not a big Ukraine fan. Really wants to avoid what she describes as kind of open-ended wars and commitments overseas and things. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Prone to hyperbole. Probably knows the issues and has sat in those meetings and been a part of some discussions that involved pretty high-level stuff. She has a top secret security clearance with that lieutenant colonel rank. That said, nothing in her background suggests a role as a manager of people and processes at the nexus of all of the intelligence agencies that the United States brings to bear in our security institutions. Very controversial figure in many circles, well liked by some, despised by others. If she is confirmed, she probably won't last long, would be my prediction. She'll probably run afoul of Trump at some point or another. 1 star.
Dude, really?
Elise Stefanik, Congresswoman. She is nominated to be the UN ambassador. Working class, middle class background, parents owned a lumber yard. Harvard bachelor's, straight into politics. Served as a staffer in the G.W. Bush administration. She ran for the House in 2014 and won. Been there ever since. She was once known, also kind of like Rubio, as a centrist, moderate Republican, bipartisan type, but jumped on with Trump in a big way from 2016 on. Big supporter of Israel, competent, professional, very hardworking, a decent choice. I would say maybe the best choice on the roster. 3 stars.
Hey, whatever.
Next up, John Ratcliffe. He is nominated to be CIA director. He has a legal background, served in George Bush's second term as a lawyer with the Justice Department for a second. 5-time mayor of Heath, Texas, population about 4,000. Ran for a House seat in 2015, was there from 2015 through 2021. Was DNI for 1 year at the end of the Trump administration from 2020 to 2021. After that, jumped over to the Heritage Foundation where he helped author the Project 2025 document. Incidentally, several people on this list were involved in or consulted on Project 2025. So hard right conservative, very, very Trump aligned, very anti-immigration, all of that sort of thing. No experience whatsoever in managing people, places, or things, unless you count being a small town mayor, which maybe you do, but CIA is a little bit different animal. Hard to see how this works out long term. 1 star.
Oh, dude.
Michael Waltz has been nominated to be the National Security Advisor. He has a bachelor's from VMI and a distinguished 26-year military career. Multiple combat tours, Rangers, Special Forces. Policy guy for Rumsfeld and Robert Gates during the Bush administration. Elected to a House seat from Florida in 2018, has served on numerous committees, including intelligence. Very hard right guy, very hawkish on China. For this specific role, I would say he's probably a decent fit. 3 stars.
Hey, whatever.
Next up, Kash Patel for FBI director. The lawyer has some advanced legal degrees, including one from University College London. First served in Florida as a public defender for a time, then ended up in the Department of Justice part-time as a legal liaison with JSOC. Gained some counterterrorism from the legal perspective, world experience. Held a number of staffer positions in Trump 1. Whenever somebody left, he seemed to jump up there a little bit. Has 0 managerial experience. His lack of FBI experience or as a law enforcement officer does not bode well for him at the Bureau. It's a very insular FBI need to know kind of culture. Hard right, ideological, and very opportunistic. Very poor fit for this particular job. 1 star.
Dude, really?
So these next ones may seem tangential to global politics. However, they definitely touch on it. And you could make the argument that any cabinet secretary in a presidential administration that has at least some interaction with foreign affairs. However, I've picked just the ones that are most proximate to it. The next one is Scott Bessent for Secretary of Treasury. Yale guy, ran a hedge fund for a billion years, elite type, Certainly he knows his way around the people, processes, and issues likely to confront this administration in terms of international finance. Probably the best one of the batch, 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that's all right.
Next up, Chris Wright for Secretary of Energy. Engineering BA and MS, MIT guy. Energy company CEO for a long time. A relatively small but quite profitable, highly performing company that specializes in fracking technologies. Very opposed to climate regulations, unsurprisingly, and big fossil fuel guy. Billionaire. Working at the head of a government agency may be a little stifling for him. It might not be fun or interesting. Certainly managing the department is something that his experience may help with in part. Big step up though, because he's never really had this kind of interaction at this level. Big Trump donor, which is how he got where he is now. 2 stars.
Whatever.
Howard Lutnick is Trump's nominee for Secretary of Commerce. Investor type guy, his whole career, principal at Cantor Fitzgerald. Indeed, he was in the Twin Towers on 9/11 and managed to escape with some of his staff helping them down. Very philanthropic, became involved in Trump world 2018-19 timeframe, hosting some big money fundraisers and things like this. Big fan of high tech, crypto, tariffs, fits right in there with some of the folks. Should be extremely competent and know his way around the players, has experience managing a lot of people in operations. 3 stars.
Hey, you know what? That's okay.
Okay, so that's it. I want to jump in here real quick with a kind of a post edit. If you don't like any of these folks, or if you like all of them, history tells us that Trump is likely to change virtually everyone on a regular basis in coming months and years. Probably within 6 months, one of these people will be gone, and that will continue during the entire length of his term. People don't stick around very long, so you could probably set up odds on who's going to be first and who will stick it all out, but your guess is as good as mine on that. Thanks. If you have some thoughts on any of these, I welcome them, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.